Hi, I'm Kimberly Washburn, Curator of Education at the Florence County Museum. Welcome to July's Family Day at Home. Today we're going to be making homemade Play-Doh together. If you've never made Play-Doh at home, it's a simple way to use household supplies, things you probably already have in your kitchen, to create Play-Doh that's really similar to Play-Doh that you buy at the store. Here's some examples of that Play-Doh. It is a very similar texture to the Play-Doh that you get at the store, and it lasts for 3 or 4 weeks if you store it in the refrigerator. So you can use it over and over for hours of sculpting fun. So to make Play-Doh today, we're going to gather some supplies from our Family Day at Home bag. We're going to need some flour. You have half a cup of flour. You have a teaspoon of cream of tartar. You have 6 teaspoons of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of vegetable oil, and you're going to need to get a half a cup of water from home. You also, in your Family Day at Home kit, have a small little tablet that is a food coloring tablet. So you're just going to take that and go ahead and stick it in your water and let it start kind of fizzing up and dissolving. This is the same kind of food coloring tablets that you use for dyeing Easter eggs. So we're going to let that dissolve for a minute. You're also going to need to gather a few things from around the house. You're going to have to make this Play-Doh on the stove, which means that you need an adult to help you with this. So moms, dads, grandmas, friends, and neighbors, you need an adult to be using the hot surfaces of the stove. I'm going to be using a saucepan and also a wooden spoon. Now, everything that we're using today is food safe, so you don't need a special craft pan. Any saucepan that you have in your home that you use for cooking is totally fine for this because everything that we're using today is completely edible and safe. So I'm going to give this little food coloring a stir. This is going to be yellow Play-Doh. As you can tell from my yellow food coloring tablet, that's still dissolving. And while that finishes dissolving, I'm going to go ahead and put all of the ingredients together in the saucepan. I like to start with the dry ingredients, but it really doesn't matter. You can put them in any order. I just like to mix the dry ingredients together first to make sure that they're well distributed before adding the liquid. So I'll take my flour and my cream of tartar, my salt, and I'm going to give those a little stir. And I'm going to make sure that my little food coloring tablet is all the way dissolved before I incorporate that water. It's just a little bit left. Try to mash it up with the spoon. Okay, come right back to that. Add my little bit of vegetable oil. And my half cup of water with my food coloring tablet dissolved. Put that right in my saucepan. Now I am using a hot plate today. I'm going to go ahead and turn that up to about medium heat. So if you're doing this on your stove, start with medium heat. This happens pretty quickly as this all starts to come together. So I'm just going to give it a stir. You can see that my Play-Dohs are kind of light in color. These food coloring tablets are not super strong. If you want brighter colored Play-Doh, feel free to add some food coloring if you have some at home. Feel free to add it to your water to get a brighter color. This one's turning out kind of creamy colored after I add it to my flour mixture. And so you should get something that is thicker than a pancake batter. It does hold its shape. And as it starts to heat up, it'll start to thicken. And it might be a little sticky at the bottom of the pot, but it's really easy to clean up. If you have some that sticks, once you're all done, you're just going to fill up your pot with water, let it sit for a few minutes, and all that will dissolve right out. So I want to keep stirring it all the time. I don't want to let it sit on the bottom of the pot because it can burn. So I'm just going to keep stirring it, keep it moving in the pot. And as it heats up, it's going to start to thicken. starting to get a little thickening on the bottom of the pot. So I know it's starting to work. Once it gets clumpy all around the spoon and it kind of forms, it can be formed into a ball. It won't be perfectly smooth, but once you can form it into a ball, that's when you want to take it off the heat. And your arms will get tired stirring this stuff. But just keep stirring. Mine's starting to thicken up. It looks a little bit clumpy right now, and that's okay. That looks just how it should. And when it starts to thicken, it happens pretty quickly. Turn the heat down just a little there. It's really starting to thicken up on me. That's what I want. It's not quite able to stay in a ball yet, but now we're getting there. All right. Now, this is not very smooth. It still looks kind of lumpy, but that's okay. It will all kind of stick in a ball there. So I'm going to turn off the heat on my hot plate. I'm going to slide that out of the way. I'll bring my paper right over. Slide these lids out of the way here. You can use a sheet of wax paper or a plate or any kind of cookie sheet or something that this can cool on a little bit because it is hot right off the stove. You can see I kind of have a yucky mess down in my pot, but it does clean right up. Just let it soak for just a few minutes in some water. I'm going to set that back on the hot plate just to keep it off the table. And once it's cool enough to the touch, mine's still a little hotter than I like to handle it, but once it's cool enough to the touch, you can start just sort of kneading it together with your hands. Some areas might be softer than others, but the more you stir it, the more you knead it, the more it will start to come together and smooth out. So my yellow color tablet gave us sort of this creamy color. If I hadn't put any color tablet in it, it would just be white like the flour and the salt. Okay, and so now my Play-Doh is warm, so you might want to let it cool for a few more minutes before you let little ones play with it, but it's just that easy. So now I have 3 colors of Play-Doh, this creamy yellow, a pink color, and a teal blue color that will allow for lots and lots of fun creating sculptures around the house for the next few weeks. Remember that if you need to store this, if you decide you want to store it, do keep it in a Ziploc baggie in an airtight or any airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 4 weeks for lots and lots of hours of fun with Play-Doh.